We have to remember that smooth muscle is different than skeletal muscle. So remember that smooth muscle cells are sort of more spindle shaped than the skeletal muscle counterpart. So they look sort of like this, right? And that's one of the things that is different is I'm going to erase a couple spots along here, is that a smooth muscle cell does not have a specific site like the skeletal muscle cell does, where the neuron attaches, right? So there's no motor end plate. So the neuron that sort of comes in has these expansions called varicosities that sort of line up over top of those invaginations in that smooth muscle, right? So this is what we refer to as a varicosity. And then these invaginations, these little invaginations here on the smooth muscle, these are known as calveoli. Calveola for singular, right? Or calveoli for plural. Okay? Now, inside of the smooth muscle are these protein structures, which are called dense bodies. And I'm just going to draw a couple, not a whole bunch, but just a couple. Like so. Okay? And maybe we'll draw another one sort of down here, like this. Okay? And remember that the organizational pattern of the myofilaments, those thick and thin filaments, is going to be different inside of the smooth muscle. So it's not a repeating pattern like it was in skeletal muscle, right? Smooth muscle is non-striated, so it's not a repeating pattern. So what you have is that these dense bodies, these proteins, serve as anchoring points for filaments. Right? And so they will anchor sort of like this, where you have maybe this one will come off over like this. And then maybe it'll also come up like this. Like so, right? And then that would be our thin filament. And then in the center here, let's do green, right? We would have our thick filaments like this. Like so, right? We could even have, maybe we add one more in here like this. So then that would give us the capability to do like this. Maybe one like this. It comes off here. And then runs like this. So this one here. Well, let's do green, put our thick filaments in there. Like this. Okay? So what you get, right, is that the contractional pattern is going to be a little bit different. And so what happens is that the contractional pattern of smooth muscle sort of happens at these oblique angles like this. So what happens is you get sort of pull in this direction here, you get pull in this direction here, you might get pull in that direction there. And what happens is that when this smooth muscle contracts, it like twists, right, on itself. So imagine like wringing out a rag or something like that, right? It would twist, and it's because of this organizational patterns that causes that twist when they contract. And some of that twisting can be rather drastic. If you look at something called like uteromuscular twisting in snakes, it twists so hard that the uterus actually twists up. So can be pretty cool. Right, so this operates a little bit different too from the sake of getting the signal here, right, in that you have a neurotransmitter, right, that's housed in these varicosities, and that neurotransmitter will get released from these varicosities and it will bind to the receptors on the calveoli, ligand-gated receptors, and that signal will just sort of spread out in this direction. Okay? And when that signal spreads out in this direction, eventually it will hit a voltage gated channel. Okay? And this is going to be a voltage gated calcium channel, right? And so the signal and the way that smooth muscle contracts is different than the way skeletal muscle contracts. So we're going to go over that in a different video.